Artist Log, April 2024, Part 2. I'm working on another book illustration with Tempera, a Sims 4 character portrait with Tempera as well, and sketching with watercolor and inks. I am continuing my illustrations of the Three Musketeers book by Alexandre Dumas. I am illustrating chapter 4 now. I did the drawing on mixed media paper and I am using a tempera for the painting. In the story, this is the part where D'Artagnan picks a fight with each of the Three Musketeers by mistake. I decided to illustrate the scene where he picks a fight with Aramis, because previously I've done a painting where Porthos is the focus of the illustration, and I also did one where Athos is the focus. I thought this time I should make Aramis the focus, and that way I would have made a painting of each of them. I gave Aramis the musketeer hat because the scene is supposed to take place outside in the street, not indoors, like the past ones I've painted. And I included D'Artagnan in the piece to add a narrative element. That way it's obvious it's D'Artagnan that Aramis is angrily talking to. This piece is also done on A3 paper, that is 29.7 by 42 centimeters. I am trying to add more shadows or to focus and remember to work on the shadows. Sometimes I find my artwork looks flat because I forget to add stronger shades to it. I really tried to focus on that for the musketeer coat. Normally I would give D'Artagnan a yellow outfit, but it's in the story that he was wearing blue. It doesn't affect the story, but still I wanted to have that detail in. The thing is that they both wear blue now, so it doesn't look very striking. Well, once D'Artagnan gets into the guards, I will paint him in the yellow outfit, since that's how I see the guards' outfits. I feel like I could have added more shade to Aramis' face, to make it seem more three-dimensional. I will keep that in mind for future illustrations. It's just looking a bit flat looking back on it. I just don't like this painting as much as my previous Athos one. But it's all about practice and remembering the things you would like to fix after. Making each painting just a little bit better. I think I would add some white in the background just to make Aramis stand out a bit more, right behind him. I think adding the white behind Aramis helped complete the illustration. It was looking a bit empty before. I also added some details with color pencils, but like I said, I should really work more on shadows in my paintings in general. Looking back at it, I should have worked more on the details of the cloak, like those little fleur-de-lis on the coat, for example. A new Sims 4 character portrait. Kyle Kyleson won in the poll I did on Instagram against Diego Lobo. But on the poll I did here on YouTube, they tied. I don't know how to get the result of the YouTube poll to show up. After I saw the result, it disappeared from my YouTube studio. I should have taken a screenshot then. Next time I will remember to. I am doing this illustration on watercolor paper and using tempera paints. I drew the pose of him sitting on a bench drinking his power sip, which is like the Sims World version of those energy drinks. Apparently it's a thing in the game that this character always has some power sips on him, and they are always llama berry flavored. There's always llama theme stuff in The Sims. This sim comes in the Growing Up Together expansion pack. He's a bit of a bum from what I've read. He apparently tries to stay in your Sim's house for weeks, but I haven't experienced that in my games. When I invite him to a neighbor's buffet, he brings chicken nuggets for food, so make of that what you will. Is that bummish behavior? I don't know. He has a broad diet of energy drinks and chicken nuggets, I guess. At least he shares his chicken nuggets. I also tried to do darker shadows on this illustration. In general, I think this one turned out better than my musketeer one. I think I was more aware that I wanted to add better shadows on this one. The only thing is that maybe I made the hands too big. If they were just a little bit smaller, it may have looked better. When I started the painting, I didn't notice I had made the can so big too. I tried to fix it as I was painting. I managed to make it slightly smaller, but I still think it looks big. In the game, the drinks look huge, actually, so let's just go with it's a game thing. Still, it's something I have to work on, making sure the proportions are correct before I start the painting. I tried to detail the hair as much as I could with the small brush, and in the end I did some more small details with the color pencils. Also, I added some more vibrant colors with the color pencils on the bright areas. And here we have the finished version. Besides the issues I talked about, I do like the final look of it. These are some sketches I did on my Alibabet sketchbook. I wanted to use watercolor and ink on this. Even though the paper is not for watercolors, I just wanted to paint with this medium, because I like the look of it with ink. The paper was okay for watercolor, even though it bends. But it's not good at all for inking. It has that porousness that makes the ink bleed all over the place. But I still wanted to try and make it work, even if the ink bleeds. This is a random fantasy night I came up with. All I wanted to do was play with the colors and play with the details of the outfit. I really tried to give it that botanical look with all these plants decorating his outfit. It was looking good with just watercolor, and once I added the ink, that's when the trouble began. It just kept going everywhere. It's very hard to control on this paper. I do not recommend this sketchbook at all if you like to do ink, because it's just a bit of a mess. But still, I want to make it work because I really like that look. I think it would look cool doing nights with watercolor and ink. Here I am starting the second night I drew. Him, instead of doing the botanical look, I went with a celestial theme. So his outfit is decorated with stars. And even though I had a terrible time with the first night, I still wanted to do the watercolor and ink anyway. Because this is just a sketchbook, I think it's okay if it's not perfect. Like if the ink bleeds, maybe it can give it an interesting look for a sketchbook. The first night was mostly green and cream to symbolize the earth element. And since this one it's more about the celestial element, I went with the blues and blue-grays for him. I also added blue on his hair, but he's meant to have black hair. I just wanted it to be like highlights. As soon as I started inking the hair, it was a mess. It made this big blotch on his face, but I was able to cover it with hair. And then I became a bit more careful with the inking around his face. In the end, I ended up using ink and color pencils. I used the color pencils to give definition mostly on the face, and the rest of the character I did with inks. I also ended up using metallic inks for the details. And for the other night, I ended up using my metallic watercolors. Here are the finished sketches. And here you can see how it shines with the metallic ink and with the metallic watercolor. I think it's a nice look. Thanks for watching and have a great day.